Good evening. Welcome to Investigator News, Lifestyle News Show. Well, it's not Lifestyle News Show, boy. Uh, World News. I'm sorry. Uh, I'm going to get right into the Israeli updates. Hamas launched 11 or more rockets at Tel Aviv this afternoon, and it's the most at one time since a ceasefire. These are rockets that were ultimately created inside Gaza. They have the ability to fire rockets that they have actually made in the strip, often underground facilities inside Gaza. And it shows they still have a compound making rockets that the IDF hasn't located yet. Israeli forces said they are close to um, completing high intensity phase of this war in the north part of Gaza. So they are moving to the south as of today. And their focus is over the past 24 hours has been in Gaza, Jabalia neighborhood, where Israel troops have from the 551st Brigade evacuated a group of civilians. And they're still in the building of weapons that were found at a school after the evacuation, according to the IDF, with more difficult ground fighting taking place in the southern Gaza. The death toll is rising amongst Israeli troops, up to 137 now, killed since the ground operation began. It basically began. The Israelis also say that they've discovered new tunnels in the heart of Gaza City that were used by Hamas leadership to take and um, basically infrastructures they were able to move and spread out in the strip from the heart of Gaza City. A quarter of the leadership, they were able to go to Shafia Hospital from it live, the ambulance, and they travel south and return to Shafia Hospital, entering a network to move and go north. And they move towards Rantisi Hospital. The discovery comes as an active Hamas site. They are continue to increase on Israeli northern front. Overnight, Israeli strikes against southern Lebanon were more serious than after the new attacks. The Lebanese migrant militant group, Hezbollah, affiliated media reported 180 Israel strikes. Now, against a single town near the border, we could not independently confirm that the report of the North certainly is getting more predictable as Israeli forces hope to wrap up the operation in certain parts of Gaza. They do have to keep their attention and posture on high along the border with Lebanon. There is also U.S. bases at Al Assad Air Base in Iraq that had come under fire. Once again, this marks the 24th time this base alone, has been a target since October 17th. And the 102nd attack on our troops. Now in Iraqi and Syria, since then, thankfully, the rocket missed and its target, no one was hurt. And this is the same time Houthi rebels from Yemen are stepping up attacks on commercial ships now in the Red Sea. And that is having an impact that can be felt right here in the United States. Now, there are certain companies, IKEA says it expects delay and availability issues with some of its products after having to divert their ships in the region. Florida congressman and Iraq war veteran basically says Congress has it's got the most powerful navies in the world, including our Navy that are demonstrating, they say, weakness, according to other countries, against a bunch of Houthi rebels. A ragtag group, I would argue that there are some able to disrupt commerce for the 330 billion people that live right here in the United States, as well as um, talks about the fact that these are all interlined, even from what they were talking about on the ground. Israel, as we know, whether it's Hezbollah, uh, who is headed up by Hanan Naola, whether it's Hamas, and I believe they finally got him. It's a Hamas leader, and it is Houthis that all these Iranian bat to militia groups, the same as Kataib Hezbollah and Shabi in Iraq. And so these are all looking at the weakness, which invites the aggression that Joe Biden has brought. And the stage whenever President Trump was in office, we actually listed the Houthi rebels as a terrorist organization. Since then, the Biden administration took them off this list, even though we knew that prior to pulling out of JCPOA, that failed Iran nuclear agreement, that the Iranians um, was actually sending mid-range ballistic missiles to go back and then try, and they went ahead and did it again to disrupt Saudi Iranian companies and oil trade. Now they simply moved it over to commercial space so they can try to block any commerce that comes in and out of the Red Sea. Now, they are disrupting things and are going through the Persian Gulf and the Black Sea and all the other areas, so that we need to be looking at why did Biden administration actually remove this Houthi terrorist organization, and who is backed by Iran from the terrorist organization. To begin, I can remember 2011 used to be the anti-piracy operation outside of the Bible Elman. Um, Back then, the threat was Somalia and pirate ships that were actually being launched that would disrupt things like Maris, Alabama. And so, what we are seeing is that this direct attack against commerce is really a bigger thing. And if you look at China's Russia, Iran, and the North, Korea is geopolitical alignment. Their goal is to overthrow and has always been to impact the United States. Economic coercion on Panama and Honduras to control the canals, and so this administration and New York security. Council and NSA should have already released and had predicted that um, they were going to occur. And it has something to do in place. But whether we see another Afghanistan or is Israel in the 2023 election, the administration might not have any answers. The IDF struck over 300 targets in Gaza Strip over the course of the past 24 hours. Seemingly, the increase of intensity coincided with the statement of Israel's defense minister. Yoav Gallant, who has asserted that the IDF would be explained to other areas of Gaza, never happened. According to the IDF spokesman, Real Admiral Daniel Hagari, and the line of defense minister, a lot of these kids aren't eating. Give them chicken nuggets and French fries and soda. Just keep a stock up of it. So throughout the terror-infested Sagava Strip, we are deepening the fight against Hamas strongholds. We are deepening the fight against every part of Hamas. with Israel. Our forces are fighting above and below ground. And this has been since the beginning of the ground operation. It is Gaza ship, ITF, forces discovered many women and children. And there's no news on this. Why do they have them? They're talking at least a dozen. Approximately 1,500 terrorist tunnel estate tariffs and the Lebanon Strip, IDF, were fortunately enough. I see terrorist tunnels, shafts, tunnels, the routes. It's also important to explain that this tunnel infrastructure is the main part of the main elements. And what does mean by that is there are two major ports that are, for the most part, being protected by the cartel. So they go in there and they go out into land that is totally taken over by Hezbollah, Hamas, and other Iranian groups. It's important to explain that this underground infrastructure, one of the elements is Hamas terrorism operations. In parallel to the increased intensity of the aerial and artillery operations, the IDF has also implemented new tactics to subterranean warfare, which has been proven successful. Moreover, the southern Gaza Strip and the terror stronghold of Khan Yunis, the IDF 98 Division has also ordered to intensify further and deepen its operation. So we're seeing they'll continue with determination wherever it's required. The return of the hostages, though, we haven't heard any about that, is one of the war's objectives. Now, IDF is investigating special forces and intelligence in locating live hostages. Every time they get close with the mission, with dogs, they're shooting the dogs and they're killing the hostages, or they're using them as human shields. The forces operating in the field also instructed on how to search for living hostages. We embrace the families of the hostages, they say, and continue to accompany them. It's important to note that senior officials in Jerusalem have enlightened the need for the United States to intensify pressure on Qatar and Egypt to put pressure on Hamas. Now, that's what we need with the United States. It's not, hey, back off. No, we need them to talk to Egypt. We need more to talk to Qatar, because Qatar is the one talking to Hamas. At this point, we're holding press conferences with Blinken and others, and they're saying everybody wants a ceasefire. Everybody wants back off. Don't be mean to in case of the hostages. Well, no one has really understood that it's up to the United States to work with Qatar and Egypt and do that while Israel is doing what they need to do to get rid of Hamas. Jerusalem demand is unwavering. Women who are still being held captive must be released. Another group at the center of negotiation is chronically ill and seriously wounded women hostages. It could be why Hamas does not want to release them. They say the state of their health is grave. IDF forces in air, land struck a series of Hezbollah terrorist targets in Lebanon. And now, as we see, they are moving towards the south now. Hezbollah is backing off, and they are having more problems in the South Gaza Strip, being able to get aids to Palestinians that are left. Meanwhile, Iran proxy in Yemen, the Houthi, demonstrated an Ansar Allah pledge to double down their attacks against international shipping, and they declared they are ready to face the United States in open war. The announcement, which preceded two separate attacks against civilian vessels in the Strait of Bab el Mandeb, came as an evident response to the U.S. led decision to launch Operation Prosperian Guardian. Now, we name all of our what we do, and that way you know when you hear it that you know what's going on. So this is the Operation Prosperity Guardian. The bottom line is these attacks have to stop. They're unacceptable. The United States, our allies, and our partners will do what we have to encounter these threats and protect the ships. There's an ongoing war, folks, of hardware in the basically in the Red Sea now. Naval is from the United States, but other ships from other nations. We're going to have to wait and see what happens. We hope it gets stronger and we're able to add additional countries and additional capabilities to it. I'm certainly not going to throw any punches one way or the other. These attacks are unacceptable. We have a national security interest at play in the whole region, from Israel to Yemen. On December 15th, the first vice ministerial level meeting of China, Saudi Arabia, Iran Trilateral Joint Committee was being held in Beijing. Now, what I didn't like was Iran met with some from Yemen, and they met with other national countries. And then we seen Houthi pick up the pace on striking out on any ship that's not Iranian, Russia, China. Now they're letting. Now if you ask, are they letting them through? Yes, they are. China expressed its willingness to continue playing a constructive role in supporting the improvement of relations between Saudi Arabia and Iran. Well, wait a minute. Iran and Saudi Arabia's had meetings. And then Iran got worse. And Saudi Arabia's going, yeah, they have no clue. They have no clue. The three sides have discussed trilateral cooperation in various fields. The common positions of Palestinian issues and other regional hotspots are national security to us. Why? Because with these Palestinian riots, what they're seeing is if you support Hamas, it means you support Iran's. It means you support Hezbollah. You support ISIS and other terrorists. And they said, think on that. Wow. That's some pretty powerful stuff. Now, I hope, boy, I got lots of stuff here. Houthi should step back, and we have 80 birds of prey in the region. Of course, we have, as far as the protests go, folks, at these colleges, we have Antifa, we have they pay these college students to protest. This is through the Soros foundations, and they'll actually pay for them and pay for them to travel. And so every time we see these great big protests, not only do we have like the Palestinians actual, but we have over the years put Palestinians close to the colleges and Muslims. So now that this is going on, wham, they have their protesters. And then what they lack, they pull in Um, some of the colleges, kids that they need an extra buck. And then, of course, then they pull in Antifa and other groups, radical groups. So that's where you get these great big protests. Um, what? But we have to kind of look at Connecticut is going to wipe clean 80,000 criminal records, a clean slate. It automatically erases criminal records of people 7 years after the date of conviction for misdemeanor or 10 years after felony convictions. This law was approved by the state legislature in 2021, and it was set for this year. Will automatically erase criminal records of people 7 years after the date of the conviction. This is for misdemeanors. Or 10 years after the date of their conviction for certain low level felonies, which is child molesters, rape, second-degree murder. And if they hadn't been convicted of other crimes. Now I know some have turned their life around, they made a mistake, and it's not easy. But low-level offenses hasn't been committed in any other crimes. I find those convictions haunting them for decades. What about ones that tried to stalk and kill and ended up raping these women? When they get out, are they going to go back? Are they going to go get them? We don't know. But they say they're going to turn their life around. Are they? The idea that minor crimes should remain part of someone's permanent record is outdated, they say. It's ineffective and could cause more harm than good, according to the Democrats. State officials attributed the 2-year delay as an intensive information technology system upgrade. So what that means is they just don't want to take the time to type everybody in. They're lazy. That's 8 million computer system is now live, they said. And over the next month, individuals who met the clean slate law eligibility requirements have their offenses automatically erased. 80,000 of them. And an additional 178,000 offenses for more than 80,000 people will automatically be erased in the next month. They talked about this in 2020. They were going to do this. They were just going to let people out of jail. Is this the start? Is Connecticut the first to start this? Now, I know the voters didn't vote on this. And we're looking at crime that is so harsh right now, and they just slap them on the wrist. It's kind of like what we've seen. Let's see, where was this? It was a street party that went wrong. They're just going crazy. They're spinning out. It's not really the protesters. It's just kids having fun in the middle of the street. And they approve of this. And several people in Colorado Springs didn't follow that and are now in hospital with potentially life-threatening injuries. Why? Because they wanted to have fun in the streets. And with the police department not there and allowing this is what happens. Warning, this isn't pretty. I'm going to start over again. Now watch. This is what happened. So all in fun, folks. Oh yeah, all in fun. And the police department would have stopped this, but there's not enough police. They cut, defund the police. And so what we seen was a car. They're playing around. People are hanging out of the car. In fact, there's even trucks that do this, where people are thrown out of the trucks and people point and laugh. The new Generation X. Yeah. Oh boy. Um, so anti-Israel activists stage another insurrection at the U.S. Capitol building. The police arrested about 60 of them, but it was not considered an insurrection. Police say roughly 60 anti-Israel protesters inside the Capitol Rotunda Tuesday after a group led controversial activist Linda Sarsour staged an illegal rally. Why isn't she gone? Not another nickel, not another dime, no more for Israel's crimes, chanted the members of this group. It's illegal to hold demonstrations inside the Capitol. Violators of the prohibition are consistently prosecuted by D.C. U.S. Attorney's Office. Was this an insurrection? Let me know in the comments. Here we are with protesters getting in the Capitol again, but these are different. These are different because they're Palestinian, anti-Palestinian activists. That's okay. And then we heard a politician was the one that orchestrated this. She gets to keep her job. Why? She's a Democrat. The hate. Boy, the hate of the Democrat Party. They hate this. They hate. Hate, hate, hate. Now, all the Democrats hate this country. They hate our Constitution. They hate anything about us. They hate our flag, and they're out to destroy us. And how many voters are backing them up? Oh yeah, we're all with you. We're all with you, Democrats. We hate this country too. Do they really? We'll find out 2024 election. Oh boy, I'm having fun here tonight. Soros Open Society announces they are going to put 50 million to push just in time for the 2024 elections. What is he going after? The usual. His foundations are helping judges. They're helping DAs. They're helping, get this, prosecuting attorneys. But what about the defense? Yes. That way they won't help people. When you expect your public defender to help you, oh no, they're on the side of Soros. But now get this, it's not George, it's his nephew that he put in charge and his son. This is an empire trying to shape American politics by injecting scads of money into it. They're portrayed as a kind of hyperventilating. According to the Associated Press, Open Society Foundations run by George's son Alex Soros will commit $50 million to increase civic engagement among women and young people over the next 3 years as a part of strategy to support the Democrats in the U.S. and to put the right people in place to be able to make this country better. Well, we have seen his money since 2020, and it went to DAs, it went to judges, everything that I think Alex Soros is putting the money into, and it's only getting worse. Now Connecticut is letting 80,000 prisoners loose. And lo and behold, when I checked, Connecticut is one of the ones that did accept money from the foundations that support George Soros. Yikes. So there was no deal. Oops. Oh boy. Oh boy. I just, I'm hoping, I think I'm here, I guess. Oh boy. I think I'm froze. I'm going to keep going. Am I still here? I hope. Um, I'm going to go on anyway. Um, no deal on the border. And what was a holdup, according to what I'm finding out, is um, it's they don't want to give money to Ukraine. The DOP don't. They said no more, no more. And when they say that, then they say, okay, you're not getting anything for the border deal. So should there be one party? We see so many in Colorado saying, well, I'm not going, let's take Biden off out of the vote. No, 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 folks, come on. DeSantis says, no, I'm not going to I'm going to be on the ballot. Folks, when we start taking people off the ballot, it makes the Democrats happy, because what happens in 2028? They'll do the same thing. They're going to take this person off and that person off. How many people are going to take off the ballot? It's unconstitutional. It's for us to be able to vote freely without pressure. That's part of the Constitution. Let's not, if anything, call the judges at the Supreme Court. Their names were put out today, but when you look, they say, "Oh, we're not taking. Our site is broken. You can't call us till after Christmas." Why? Because they don't want to hear the backlash. And as we are looking at blackouts, the need for natural gas to support renewables, that this administration does not understand. In order to keep the EV stations where you can charge up your cars and bikes, has to have renewables, whether it's gas, natural gas, or coal. They have to keep one of them. And as they cut back, the power grid watchdogs warning of future blackouts, because now we are looking at the wind generator and the solar panels have to be replaced. And that's, I think, what they're trying to add into our budget. They're trying to sneak it in. So you don't see that. You don't see that. The Republicans do, and they're not talking. But the Democrats are saying, you know what? We're going to put it in the bill so that we can fix the wind generators. Now, this is at close to $100 billion in taxes. You want to pay for that? This is the excessive spending that the GOP is holding up the budget for. Don't let them scare you saying, oh, no, there's not going to be any military paychecks. Oh, Social Security. Don't let them scare you with that. Call your Social Security department and say, guess what? This is what they're is going on. They're going to take my Social Security. And Social Security, what will they tell you? You are good through the year. They're a year to 2 years ahead. So this crap that they want to scare you with, don't believe it. All that stuff with you see on this clickbait, Social Security is going to get cut. They're going to take you out. It's clickbait. It's propaganda. Call the Social Security Department, folks. Listen to them. They'll tell you. They're the ones that know. Come on. Come on, folks. That's how you find out the truth, is when you go to the source. Now the trucking industry, because we're looking at EVs, they cannot switch. They can't switch. They're going to need diesel. And they're going to force them. And these are trucks that are 300,000, 400,000, 500,000, really? And many, many of them. It's not going to make it. And they have went to this administration and said, we can't afford it. It will shut down the trucking industry. And they said, nope. Biden says you have to get an EV truck. And they said we could strike, but we don't have the time to strike because people need the food. Very logical. So it's coming back to bite them in the bums. And Jinping is warning that they're going to bring a psyops, maybe bio weapon, going into 2024. They feel that the United States with Taiwan has interfered, and it's up to the United States to strike. And if they plan to bring on to take over Taiwan, China isn't going to allow this. But we keep hearing about the threats because we got North Korea that's even threatening us. They said, yeah, we got missiles. We're firing them. You went to Japan, so you know what? U.S., watch out. Okay? They're saying it. China's saying it. Russia's saying it. Nobody is reacted. Nobody has put forth anything besides bumping boats, firing missiles, practicing. Russia is at war. Nobody is taking a step forward, and that's a good thing. Maybe me and William should have mentioned this last night. It's a good thing that no one's pushing that button. Why? Because nobody wants to push it. Whoever pushes it, we're at war. Now, if we could do a war like we see in Ukraine, it might be different. Now, when we start moving to the border, folks, boy, this is getting crazy. They've taken over towns on the U.S. side, the cartel has. They found at least 10 Afghanistan that were wanted as terrorists at our border. The cartel has said, yeah, we're ready. Come on. Kind of like yesterday's Froggy, jump. The cartel saying, come on, what do you got? There's millions of go through our border. My fear is that, like I showed you the other night. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch it, or tell people about it, because I totally disclose what their plan is, and that is to take down the United States. And what is this administration doing? Nothing. What about our bases attacked in Iraq? We're sitting at, I think they say one base has been attacked 24 times. Now, we are using drones and like the Iron Dome to keep it from hitting our bases. That's it. This administration and this president with dementia, it's too much for them to handle. And it's our lives. And the Democrats want to play a political game. We want to play a game that we want prices better. We want gas prices better. We want all this crap with the war stopped. We need to be out of countries we don't need to be in. Hmm. Um, Real quick, this came up this afternoon. The USDS identifies, this is very important, folks. Very important because I know a lot of us um, do the sleep apnea. Uh, uh, and it's not sleep apnea, it's actually medical imaging devices. Now I'm thinking MRIs. And I don't know much on this medical stuff, and Reuters put it out, so I'm going to read it as it says. Philips was recalling some models of the Panorama 1.0T HFO devices in the United States due to a risk of um, quench procedure caused by excessive buildup of helium gas. During the procedure, a large amount of helium evaporates and it's allowed to pass through a venting system. And if unknown blockage is present in the venting system, excessive pressure could build up. These devices are urged to take images that show what inside patient's body, disease, and detection. So this is why I'm taking it as an MRI, the diagnosis and treatment monitoring. The Dutch medical devices maker started to recall this on November 30th. Um, and pretty much, folks, it's an MRI machine that is spewing helium into you and your face and around you while you're having your MRI done. And look into it, Google it. Let's see. This is it was under Yahoo News under U.S. FDA identifies recall Philips medical imaging devices. If you're worried about this, like I have the same. I have an imaging being done on the 26th. Am I worried? I'm more worried that if I don't get it done, I might have health consequences. So I have to have it done. Have to have it done. Um, so if you got an MRI coming, please check into this. Um, uh, the Houthi leader is basically one of them has escaped to Egypt, where Egypt will protect them. They are threatening a big time with U.S. Warships now. They said even though these other ships with cargo are being diverted. That all they're looking at is U.S. Navy Marine ships out on the waters, and they said now that um, they are going to go after the United States ships in the Red Sea. Um, Even like I said, North Korea. North Korea is threatening 10 times what they've been doing into maybe blocking the Taiwan Strait. Uh, Now, this, they went to this Beijing meeting, and I got to thinking about it, and it was like right after that, North Korea started blocking the strait. So what's China say? We're not blocking it. It's North Korea. Same thing. It's just North Korea is going to agree with what China says. Um, so anyway, I know this was cut short tonight, but um, I wanted to kind of just get in here and give you all the updates, folks. Anybody have any questions, let me know. Um, Social Security, folks. One last thing I want to talk about with Social Security, and I mentioned it called the Social Security Department. Um, they are running very low, very low. And there's a good possibility in 2024, 28, or maybe 2030 that they might have to lower our checks due to it's just not, there's no money there. The other thing is with the Biden administration, they're saying, oh, they're going to give us these raises. Well, not necessarily. Everybody got, I think, a 3.2 raise. If you've seen it, Social Security printed it out. They sent it to you, and they're saying you get a 3.2. That's it. Don't think there's this big money coming to you. I mean, think about your check with a 3.2. And every year I just kind of scoff at it because one year I had a whole increase of 1 penny. 1 penny. Oh, yeah, 1 penny. I've gotten 10 cents, 5 cents, 20 cents, 50, a couple dollars. And one under the Trump, I think that was the biggest, but I can't remember what it was. I know it was quite a few dollars. Well, 3.25 will be a few dollars. Yeah, you might see a little bit more, but quit listening to these stupid YouTube, even Facebook does it, where they say, oh, you can get all this money. No, you're not going to get no money. Think about it. They're broke. They're broke. They're absolutely broke. So, anyway, that is it for today. And William may be back on Monday. William's in the house. William says he's had too many MRIs, and sometimes they make mistakes. Yeah, they did with mine. Now I just tell the doctor, you know what? If I got the doctors to prove it, leave me alone. You know, sometimes you got to quack a little at your doctors to get them to pay attention, because you know what? When you quack at them, they get angry. And then they really want to help you out. They don't want to necessarily kick you out. So, so with that, going back to this this car that rolled over, and the uncontrollable college students that's going on out in California. Um, when is all this going to stop? Well, when they put the police force back in. And unfortunately, if you want to get that big $1 million check from George Soros, you're not going to do it. And when we look at some of the politicians in these fields that he supports, they have never really been in any of this to have in this position and trained or even have the knowledge of that job. That's why they're failing out, and it's all over the United States. Anyway, all right, folks, that is it, and we will see you tomorrow. We have trivia, Christmas trivia tomorrow. So come on back, and we'll have weather and lifestyle news, followed by Christmas trivia, and going into to Christmas on Monday. I won't be here Monday. I want you guys to go and enjoy your Christmas with your families. I do plan on putting a playlist together on YouTube. It's a playlist I put together every year for me and my family. We play it on the TV as, I get a house full. And they're funny ones, and then I get the ones that are very nice. Sometimes I add movies into it. So if you're looking for something just to play on the TV for the day, go check out our playlist. It'll probably be there by Christmas morning. And so anyway, have a wonderful Thursday. We'll be back tomorrow with trivia. All right. We're the only news broadcast on YouTube that does live trivia. So, all right, folks, we will see you tomorrow. And if not, if you're heading to be with family and friends today or tomorrow, have safe travels, and God bless. And we'll see you soon.